What if I told you that all the frustration you feel, that sense that something is deeply wrong with this world, isn't a glitch in the system? It's exactly what it was designed to do. You're not fighting against chaos. You're trapped inside a machine that works perfectly, just not in your favor. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you looked at some absurd decision, some senseless rule, some system that seems made to make your life harder, and thought, how can people be so stupid? How many times have you felt surrounded by incompetence, negligence, pure collective stupidity? I get it. I used to think that way too. But here's the truth that completely changed how I see reality. Complex systems don't survive by accident. If something has existed for decades, if something persists despite all the criticism, all the complaints, all the apparent irrationality, it's because it's working exactly as it should. The question you should be asking isn't, why is this so stupid? The right question is, who does this work perfectly for? There's a principle in systems theory that few people know, but it explains almost everything about the modern world. It's called the inverted Hanlon's razor. The original version says, never attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence. But there's a darker, more realistic version that the architects of power know very well. Never attribute to incompetence what is perfectly designed to appear incompetent. Let that sink in for a second. What if the annoying bureaucracy you face isn't a design flaw, but an intentional barrier? What if the educational system that seems to fail at preparing people for real life is actually fulfilling its original function exactly? What if the constant feeling that you need to run more, work more, consume more isn't a coincidence of modern life, but the result of decades of careful social engineering? The philosopher Michel Foucault spent his entire life studying how power manifests not through direct orders, but through invisible structures. He discovered something disturbing. The most effective prisons don't need bars. They're built with norms, expectations, reward and punishment systems so subtle that the prisoners don't even realize they're imprisoned. They even defend their own cells. They call it normal life. Have you ever stopped to question how many of your daily decisions are truly yours? Or are you just following a script that someone wrote for you before you were even born? But why does this happen? How did we get here? The answer lies in understanding that every system, whether economic, political, social, or cultural, was created by someone at some point to solve a specific problem. And here's the crucial detail: the problem it solves is almost never the problem it claims to solve. Take the modern financial system. It claims to exist to facilitate exchanges, to help people keep their money safe, to finance dreams and projects. But look at how it actually works. It's designed to create permanent dependency, easy credit that turns into decades of debt, hidden fees in fine print, a deliberate complexity that makes you need experts to understand where your own money is. This isn't incompetence. This is brilliant design from the perspective of those who profit from your confusion. And the same pattern repeats everywhere you look. The healthcare system that profits more from your illness than from your cure. The food system that produces addictive products disguised as food. The entertainment system that captures your attention as a resource to be extracted and sold. None of this is accidental. Everything was designed by very intelligent people with very clear objectives, using decades of research on human behavior, psychology, and economics. You're not fighting stupidity. You're fighting a superior intelligence that isn't on your side. If this idea has already resonated with you, imagine what comes next. Subscribe so you don't miss this journey. Now, I know what you might be feeling right now. Maybe a mix of anger and powerlessness. Maybe a desire to deny, to say I'm exaggerating, that not everything is a conspiracy, that there are well-intentioned people trying to make things better. And you're right, there are. But here's what I learned. After years of studying how real change happens in the world, well-intentioned people working within poorly designed systems almost always lose. The system is stronger than any individual. It absorbs the energy of reformers, exhausts revolutionaries, co-opts idealists. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon while someone keeps turning on the faucet. Let me tell you something you might recognize. You wake up in the morning already tired. You spend the day doing things you didn't really choose to do, fulfilling obligations you're not quite sure where they came from. You get home too exhausted to do the things that really matter to you. You spend a few hours numbed in front of a screen, not because it's pleasurable, but because you don't have the energy for anything else. You go to bed late, sleep poorly, and the cycle starts again. On weekends you try to enjoy yourself, but even leisure feels tiring, because even rest has been transformed into consumption, into activity, into something you need to do. And deep down, way deep down, there's a voice that whispers, "This can't be all there is. There must be something more," but you can't even properly formulate what that something more would be, because all the available answers have been pre-manufactured by the same system that created the problem. This isn't your weakness. This isn't a lack of discipline or purpose. This is what happens when you live inside a system perfectly designed to extract maximum productivity and consumption from you while giving you minimum meaning and fulfillment in return. You're not broken. The system is working exactly as planned. You're just not supposed to be thriving in it. And here's the most liberating and most terrifying thing I can tell you. Recognizing this is the first step to getting out. There's no magic solution. There's no guru who's going to save you. No course that's going to fix everything. No secret technique that's going to transform your life in 7 days. Those things are also part of the system, the self-improvement industry that profits from your dissatisfaction while keeping you running on the same wheel. But there is something that works. And it's simpler and harder than any formula they try to sell you. Transformation begins when you stop trying to win the game and start questioning why you're playing. You don't need to be more productive. You need to question who that productivity serves. You don't need to consume more intelligently. You need to examine why you feel you need to consume in the first place. You don't need more information, more content, more stimulation. You need enough silence to hear your own thoughts, not the thoughts that were implanted in you. The philosopher Socrates said 2,500 years ago that the unexamined life is not worth living. But he lived in an era when examination was possible. Today, we're bombarded with so much noise that the simple act of examining your own life has become a revolutionary act. Meditating for 10 minutes without looking at your phone is resistance. Spending a weekend without consuming content is rebellion. Questioning whether you really want what you think you want is subversion. The system depends on your distraction. It depends on you being too busy, too tired, too entertained to notice the bars of your prison. The most dangerous thing you can do isn't protesting in the streets or posting outrage on social media. It's sitting in silence and asking, what do I really want? Not what I was told to want, not what everyone around me seems to want. What do I, at the deepest core of my being, truly desire for my life? But there's an even deeper secret that few people know. When you start asking these questions for real, something strange happens. You realize that most of your answers aren't yours. They're echoes of advertisements you've seen, of family expectations you absorbed, of cultural narratives you internalized. And beneath all of that, there's something authentic. A quiet voice, almost inaudible after years of being drowned out, that knows exactly what you need. That voice doesn't want more things. It wants meaning. It doesn't want more success on others' terms. It wants alignment with your own values. It doesn't want the illusion of security that the system offers. It wants the true freedom of living on your own terms. And here's the revelation that connects everything. The system is perfectly designed, yes. But you are also perfectly designed. Millions of years of evolution created in you an extraordinary capacity for adaptation, creativity, connection, transcendence. The system tries to hack that programming for its own purposes, but the original code is still there. You still have access to it. The war isn't between you and the world. The war is between two designs. The external design that wants to use you as a resource, and the internal design that wants to see you flourish as a human being. The poet Rumi wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." The system wants you to feel small, powerless, dependent. But the truth is that you carry within you the same creative potential that built civilizations, that painted the Sistine Chapel, that wrote symphonies, that took humanity to the stars. That potential hasn't disappeared. It's just dormant, waiting for the moment when you'll stop running on the wheel and start building your own road. The answer isn't to destroy the system. You don't have that power. And even if you did, another system would take its place. The answer is to become impervious to it, to build within yourself a fortress of clarity, purpose, and genuine connection that no algorithm can penetrate. To cultivate real relationships in an era of superficial connections. To seek deep knowledge in a time of shallow information. To practice presence in a world of constant distraction. This isn't escapism. This is the only realistic form of revolution. Because when enough people wake up, when enough people stop feeding the machine with their attention, their energy, their money, and their lives, the system begins to lose power. It can't function without you. It needs your participation. And the most radical thing you can do is consciously choose where you put your energy. So here's what I want you to take from this moment. The world isn't stupid. It's perfectly designed to benefit a few at the expense of many. You're not crazy for feeling that something is wrong. Something is wrong, but not with you. The solution isn't trying to win a rigged game. It's creating a new game with your own rules, based on your own values. And it starts with a simple question you can ask right now. What would I choose to do with my life if no one was watching, if no one was going to judge me, if I didn't need to impress anyone? The answer to that question is the first brick of your freedom. You don't need to change the whole world. You need to change your world. And when you do, you'll discover something the system doesn't want you to know. The most powerful revolution isn't loud. It's silent, personal, internal. And once it begins, nothing can stop it. I'll leave you with that. If this message touched something in you, like this video, because that helps more people find this content, leave a comment telling me which part resonated with you the most. I read all of them. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's feeling lost inside the machine, share this video with that person. Sometimes a single idea at the right moment can change an entire life. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Because this is just the beginning. There's so much more to discover, and you don't have to do it alone.